Florida, July 31st, 2024. Police observed Tonya's Cornelius Dixon driving a gray Infiniti sedan with Sean Todd Holmes as a passenger, committing a vehicle equipment violation on Mobile Highway. The vehicle slowed, but then suddenly accelerated and fled, made contact with a patrol vehicle, and continued driving recklessly through multiple roadways. The vehicle entered a residential area, drove across a yard, struck exterior property, and came to a stop.
Still on Turnpike. I got two going on foot, two black men going on foot.
Both individuals exited the vehicle and attempted to flee on foot, but were quickly subdued. A search recovered suspected narcotics and related paraphernalia. Dixon was transported to a detention facility and faces charges including fleeing, reckless driving, and drug-related offenses. Gadsden County, Florida police observed a vehicle traveling at high speed within Gadsden County and initiated a traffic stop. However, the driver failed to comply, quickly left the roadway, and repeatedly changed direction through multiple residential areas.
I'm trying to run the tag now.
Whoever's just cut in front of you will. So just down on 90. You're still eastbound on 90, coming up on about 110 to 115, traffic is light.
At a narrow curve, the vehicle lost control, left the roadway, and came to a stop after a collision.
He is now south southbound on Rock Boulevard. Rock Boulevard is back out.
The driver exited the vehicle and attempted to flee on foot, but was quickly subdued at the scene. The individual admitted to the actions and stated there were illegal substances inside the vehicle. The incident is being handled according to procedure. Polk County, Florida, December the 25th, 2025. On Interstate 4, police observed a vehicle traveling well above the posted speed limit. When noticed, the driver immediately accelerated, reaching approximately 100 miles per hour, weaving through traffic and using the shoulder to pass.
That I-4 westbound from the 38. Westbound 38. What's the traffic? What's the speed? Speeds are 80, traffic light.
Due to the danger, a trooper quickly moved in and executed a precise pit maneuver, causing the vehicle to become unstable, rotate sideways, and come to a stop on the roadway.
Clear left, clear right. Let me see your fucking hand! Let me see your fucking hand! Matt, down the ground! On the fucking ground!
Please, I'm trying to talk to you. I'm trying to talk to you. I'm trying to talk to you. Please, just listen. Please, it's Christmas, man. It's Christmas. It's Christmas. Go.
The driver was removed from the vehicle and brought under control at the scene. A search recovered a burned glass pipe and several handheld torches. The suspect was medically evaluated and then transported to the Polk County Jail. Florida, September 25th, 2022. Police observed Shakira Robinson driving a gray sedan at 75 miles per hour in a 55 mile per hour zone on Gadsden Boulevard. When signaled to stop, the vehicle failed to comply, accelerated, and fled, repeatedly changing direction and showing signs of erratic driving. As the distance was reduced, a trooper moved in and executed a pit maneuver, causing the vehicle to leave its lane and come to a stop. Shakira Robinson was taken into custody and faces charges including fleeing at high speed, driving without a valid license, reckless driving, and speeding. Little Rock, Arkansas, March 8, 2026. Jordan Cotner was driving an Audi A4 and fled when officers signaled for a stop on Interstate 30. The vehicle continued driving recklessly, repeatedly changing direction through multiple roadways.
Sixth and Apple 165 Super Young Guy. Stand by.
When reaching a curve, the Audi lost control, left the roadway, and came to a stop near a residential area.
Wreck that, Pablo.
Let me see your hand! Get on the ground! Get on the ground! Get on the ground! Get on the fucking ground now! Get on the ground!
Cotner exited the vehicle and attempted to flee on foot, but was quickly subdued at the scene. The suspect admitted to fleeing due to a minor warrant and was then taken for processing, according to law enforcement procedures. Florida, December 25th, 2023. Police observed a Dodge Charger traveling at approximately 88 miles per hour in a 45 mile per hour zone on County Road 876. When units approached, the driver immediately accelerated and fled, continuing at high speed along the roadway. When conditions allowed, a trooper moved in and executed a pit maneuver, causing the vehicle to lose control, leave its lane, roll multiple times, and come to a stop beside a residential property. The driver was removed from the vehicle and brought under control at the scene. Marion County, Florida, March 18, 2024. Police observed Kamari Stokes driving a white Dodge Challenger with Brandel Crossley as a passenger, traveling at approximately 96 miles per hour in a 65 mile per hour zone on Highway 441. When signaled to stop, Stokes failed to comply, ran a red light, continued through multiple roadways, and entered Interstate 75 at speeds exceeding 130 miles per hour.
For 1466 that county line, they're going to...
Alright, we do have a hit on the stop sticks.
Alright,
We're still going a little too fast to pit. Rear driver's side's going out.
Tampa, rear driver's side going out.
Report 9 point.
4190, do you want subject to continue?
In the area of County Road 484, the vehicle braked abruptly, lost control, went through a fence, and continued moving across a grassy area.
I'm right here with you. Kill it. Come on.
10-4.
A unit moved in and executed a pit maneuver, bringing the vehicle to a stop.
Stand by. Signal 4, signal 4.
10-4.
Very be advised, we got power lines down.
Any alcohol resistance, get out of the car. Get out of the car.
Stokes and the passenger were subdued at the scene. Upon inspection, the driver did not have a valid license, and a substance suspected to be marijuana was found inside the vehicle. The suspect faces charges including fleeing from law enforcement, driving without a valid license, and speeding.
What's his date of birth?
Lamar, Arkansas, March 25, 2021. Police received information about a stolen white Ford pickup truck towing a trailer, reportedly carrying multiple loaded firearms. When located on Interstate 40, the driver failed to comply with commands and continued westbound at approximately 70 miles per hour. During the flight, the trailer repeatedly dropped items onto the roadway, creating hazards for vehicles behind.
Still going westbound, 57-mile marker.
State.
Yeah, county and PD with me.
10-4 direct. 29, are you covering?
04. He's not pulling over. We're still westbound, going under the 57 underpass.
Supporting unit. I couldn't call you background with you,
We're still on film. He's trying to sling that stuff off his trailer. Still westbound, just past the 55.
70 miles an hour. Fish down passing the 54. Right now.
Units deployed spike strips. The driver attempted to evade, but the front driver's side tire was struck.
Spikes deployed. He's losing that icebox out of the back. He's looks like we got a front driver's side tire.
The vehicle continued moving at decreasing speed, while the trailer swayed and dropped additional items onto the roadway before eventually pulling over to the shoulder.
Alright, we're pulling over on the shoulder just for Franklin County.
29 to felony plate, Alan, European.
Get on the ground! Get on the ground! Get on the ground!
The suspect exited the vehicle without clothing, but was quickly subdued. The individual was then transported to a detention facility in Johnson County and faces charges including vehicle theft, fleeing, and reckless driving. Florida, May 7, 2023. Police observed a black sedan failing to stop at the intersection of Turner Road and Willow Oak Road before turning onto Turner Road. Suspecting the driver was impaired and disregarding safety, units immediately initiated a pursuit. The vehicle drove in the wrong lane, ran a stop sign at Riverwood Drive, turned right, and accelerated northbound. During the movement, the vehicle lost control, left the roadway, and crashed into a house along the roadside. Units quickly approached, removed the driver from the vehicle, and subdued the individual at the scene. The suspect will face serious charges. Lee County, Florida, January 1st, 2025. Police observed a white Volvo SUV driving erratically on Lee Boulevard, abruptly cutting across multiple lanes before accelerating, recorded at approximately 78 miles per hour in a 45 mile per hour zone. When signaled to stop, the vehicle failed to comply and continued fleeing, weaving through traffic to create an escape path. The vehicle maintained high speed and repeatedly changed direction. Upon entering a residential area with limited space, units quickly executed a pit maneuver, causing the vehicle to rotate and come to a stop in a parking area. The driver was removed from the vehicle and brought under control at the scene. The incident was then transferred for handling in accordance with legal procedures. Lee County, Florida, June 20th, 2025. Police observed Manuel Jose Miguel driving a bronze Jeep Liberty speeding on State Road 82. When signaled to stop, the vehicle made a U-turn and continued leaving the area through multiple residential roadways. vehicle slowed near a residential property, and officers executed a pit maneuver, causing the vehicle to rotate, crash into a fence, and come to a stop in a yard. Miguel exited the vehicle and resisted. Officers deployed a taser to bring the situation under control. A check indicated signs of alcohol use. The individual faces charges including fleeing, driving under the influence, property damage, driving without a license, and resisting with violence. Walton County, Florida, January 4th, 2025. Police observed Jerry Blackshear driving a gray SUV that was already being pursued on Interstate 10. The vehicle failed to comply and continued fleeing at speeds exceeding 115 miles per hour, demonstrating disregard for traffic safety.
Somebody's setting up for you.
Where at? Where at, Jamie? Jamie, where are they at?
Hold on. I'm trying to find it, buddy.
That's the 77 westbound, light traffic. I'm taking a look. All of a sudden they've got spikes somewhere up ahead. I'm trying to figure out exactly where. Just a second, Jamie. Alright, we're coming up over the hill. We should be right to him in about 15 seconds.
Should be only in 15 seconds. I got eyes on you.
Alright, I'm backing off a little bit.
Units deployed spike strips, deflating the tires.
Going into the right lane. He took the exit. We're going northbound.
The vehicle exited the highway, crossed multiple areas, and continued driving recklessly.
West on me. Yep. He straightened out. Came off of Stucky at 285. We're in the parking ride. Raceway parking lot.
Raceway parking lot.
We're back. He's down on 90. Have a 90, but yeah, going to the raceway.
An initial pit attempt was unsuccessful. The vehicle then moved through a residential area, damaged a water system, entered a wooded area, and came to a stop.
Mossy Head Park. You're at the fire rescue station.
Blackshear exited the vehicle and attempted to hide, but was quickly located and subdued.
I'll shoot you! Show me your fucking hand! Show me your fucking hand! Get on your fucking stomach! Black male running that way, black male!
A search recovered approximately 13.5 grams of a substance suspected to be methamphetamine. The suspect was found to have used a false identity and faces charges, including aggravated fleeing, property damage, possession of controlled substances, providing false information, and resisting without violence. Lee County, Florida, January 12, 2025. Ivanka Jael Rivera was driving a white Ford sedan that had been flagged for search and was located on US 41, but failed to comply with commands, repeatedly changing direction across multiple roadways, at times entering oncoming lanes before returning to US 41, and accelerating to approximately 110 miles per hour.
There's one vehicle on the road. Open your eyes. Hey, look, can you see the turtle? Very much something on that. Drive, light traffic, yellow town. Temple, that's right. You hear a open flight, it's to that.
During the pursuit, units attempted a pit maneuver initially, but it was unsuccessful. As the vehicle slowed near a residential area, a trooper moved in again and executed a second pit maneuver, causing the vehicle to rotate and come to a complete stop.
Put your hands up! Roll the window down! We're going to stop and see.
Rivera was removed from the vehicle and brought under control at the scene. She was then medically evaluated and transported to a detention facility in Charlotte County, facing charges including fleeing, reckless driving, and driver's license violations. Hempstead County, Arkansas, July 8, 2022. Police received information that Lariel Pope was driving a red Hyundai Elantra with Kendrick Bailey as a passenger, fleeing from Texas and throwing packages of white powder from the vehicle. Upon entering Interstate 30 toward Arkansas, the vehicle continued to accelerate, weaving between lanes and passing using the shoulder.
call with 21. We're clear than that. Slow roll them, get them hauled down. Go ahead and call it. I'm at 36 with hard cover. 5-3. Boys passing on the shoulder. Your Jeep, be advised, we're parking on the inside shoulder, right shoulder.
Units coordinated the pursuit at speeds exceeding 100 miles per hour. Spike strips were deployed but were unsuccessful when the vehicle suddenly moved into the median to evade.
He's ready.
He almost hit Antonio. So he coming towards him.
There he is, left lane, left lane.
He's stopping.
He goes now, he's ready, he's ready. Well, I'm going to figure Antonio. We're
Shortly after, a trooper moved in and executed a pit maneuver, causing the vehicle to spin and slide into a roadside ditch. Pope and the passenger were taken into custody at the scene. A search recovered substances suspected to be narcotics inside the vehicle. Both were transported to a detention facility and face charges related to fleeing, possession of controlled substances, and other violations in accordance with the law. Broward County, Florida, September 17th, 2024. Police observed Vintoya Woodard driving a black Lincoln with an expired temporary tag on Southwest 10th Street. When officers signaled for a stop, the vehicle failed to comply, accelerated, made abrupt lane changes, nearly collided with surrounding vehicles, and ran a red light at Newport Center Drive. A young child was seated in the front passenger seat.
Congress, including some of the most conservative members of the United States Senate, came up with a border security bill, which I supported. And that bill would have put 1,500 more border agents on the border to help those folks who are working there right now overtime, trying to do their job. It would have allowed us to stem the flow of fentanyl coming into the United States. I know there's so many families watching. What's your 1020 now?
The vehicle entered Interstate 95 southbound at high speed. During the pursuit, a trooper moved in and executed a pit maneuver, causing the vehicle to rotate and come to a stop on the roadway.
Hands up, hands up. Get on the ground. Get on the ground. Get on the ground.
Woodard complied with commands and was taken into custody at the scene. The child was medically evaluated and released to a family member. The suspect was then transported to a detention facility and processed according to law. Florida. November 12, 2022. Police observed Cedriana Ariel Washington driving a red Kia involved in a property damage crash on Interstate 275 and leaving the scene. Due to the level of danger, units immediately engaged. During the pursuit, the vehicle maintained high speed and repeatedly changed direction to evade. As speed decreased and conditions were safe, a trooper moved in and executed a pit maneuver, bringing the vehicle to a stop.
Show me your hand!
Cedriana Ariel Washington was then taken into custody and faces charges including fleeing, possession of marijuana over 20 grams, reckless driving, leaving the scene of a property damage crash, and driving with a suspended license. Florida, July 9, 2023. Police observed a blue Dodge Charger accelerating unusually on University Boulevard, separating from a companion vehicle with signs of racing. When units engaged, the vehicle immediately accelerated, entered State Road 33, then turned onto Mount Olive Road, continuing to drive recklessly at high speed.
Northbound 33. Drop back and stay at Mount Olive. If you come through it. Got a visual. Right above. Still taking off on the way. He's gone out, he was in the grass. Next one hit his bag number.
While entering a curve, the vehicle failed to maintain its path, slid off the roadway, and came to a stop in a roadside body of water.
He's signal 4. We're in the ditch, he's in the pond, Spark 1071.
The driver was subdued at the scene. Escambia County, Florida police observed Tress Delilah Dawson driving a Toyota HR-V speeding on US 29. When signaled to stop, the vehicle failed to comply, accelerated, ran red lights, drove against traffic, and nearly collided with other vehicles. Units moved in to control the situation. While entering a curve, the vehicle lost control, slid off the roadway, and a trooper executed a pit maneuver, bringing the vehicle to a stop. Dawson exited the vehicle and attempted to flee. Officers deployed a taser and quickly brought the situation under control at the scene. A search recovered suspected narcotics and related paraphernalia. The suspect faces charges including fleeing, possession of controlled substances, possession of paraphernalia, reckless driving, resisting without violence, and driving with a suspended license. Florida, November 14th, 2024. Police observed Daniel Jerome Rivera driving a white sedan with Tavone Alexander Hodges as a passenger, speeding on Florida's Turnpike at approximately 88 miles per hour in a 70-mile-per-hour zone. When approached, the vehicle initially slowed and stopped, but then suddenly accelerated and fled, reaching speeds of approximately 145 to 148 miles per hour, repeatedly using the shoulder and driving close to the median.
going nowhere, man. Better off just stop. Stop. Seems like probably you're gonna use the exit 152 because we're signal. I'm telling you, you better off just pull over. It's okay. Pull over, man.
After exiting the highway and slowing on State Road 714, a trooper moved in and executed a pit maneuver, causing the vehicle to slide across multiple lanes and come to a stop on the grassy shoulder. Rivera and Hodges were removed from the vehicle and brought under control at the scene. A check showed Rivera had a suspended driver's license. He was transported to a detention facility and faces charges including fleeing, resisting without violence, driving with a suspended license, and reckless driving. Arkansas police observed a gray sedan failing to comply with a traffic stop and continuing along the highway at high speed, despite emergency lights and sirens activated behind it.
That Arkansas,
City, that's 241 eastbound on there. Still rolling.
As the distance was reduced, units repeatedly executed pit maneuvers, but the vehicle continued moving. A subsequent intervention was carried out with precision, causing the vehicle to spin and come to a stop on the shoulder.
243 eastbound, TVI. 243.
With your left hand, open the door. Get out on the ground now. Get on the fucking ground now. Right hand and buckle. Get on the ground. Hands out. I got it. I'll put it.
The suspect was then removed from the vehicle and subdued at the scene. The incident was handled in accordance with legal procedures. Crittenden County, Arkansas, March 6, 2026. While checking speeds with radar on US Highway 70, police observed a black motorcycle traveling at approximately 124 miles per hour in a 60-mile-per-hour zone.
Stand by, I'm trying to get his attention. Still eastbound, passing Summit Ridge. Eastbound, yield still. Speed 104. Eastbound order.
When signaled to stop for a traffic check, the rider initially slowed down and pulled to the shoulder, but then suddenly accelerated and fled.
White male, eastbound US 70. Stand by.
The motorcycle continued to accelerate, at times reaching approximately 146 miles per hour, quickly creating a large distance from the patrol vehicle.
Well, that's great. Your bag's been notified. Towards Highway 5.
It's gonna be a white male with black, brown beard, black helmet. It's gonna have some lime green on it.
After losing visual contact with the vehicle, the trooper terminated the pursuit near the area of Bassett Trail and Highway 128 to ensure traffic safety. Indian River County, Florida, February 5, 2024. Police received a report that Philip Daughtry was driving a white BMW linked to a suspected kidnapping on Old Dixie Highway. When located, the rear passengers repeatedly signaled for help and attempted to open the doors to exit, but the vehicle suddenly accelerated and continued leaving the area.
Continue northbound, stand by 28. 1065. Alpha November 3, 2 Lima Golf and 3, 2 LG, white BMW.
Yeah, I see the radio clear.
Approaching 4th Street, stand by direction. Going out toward US 1, eastbound.
Alright, just send out the radio. Eastbound US 1, pull up to the train tracks. Speeds are 65 miles per hour. She is signaling to go northbound on US 1. We're going to be in the left turn lane.
LT, can I put it?
You gotta take care of it, so you got other.
The vehicle maintained high speed, traveling across multiple roadways and at times exceeding 100 miles per hour.
I got you. We're going to be southbound center lane, coming up to Vista Royale. Speeds are 100 miles per hour. Moderate traffic. Packing House. Speeds are 95 miles per hour. Light traffic at this time.
As speed decreased on US Highway 1, a unit moved in and executed a pit maneuver, causing the vehicle to lose momentum and come to a stop.
Keep your fucking hands up! Keep them up! Keep them up! Up!
No, as long as you comply, we ain't gonna do nothing to you.
You just do what we're telling you to do. I'm sorry for putting y'all on the tape.
Step out of the car. Step out of the car. We'll talk to you in a second. And face away from us.
Face this way.
Away from us.
The back way? Yes, sir.
Yep. Take some steps to your right until I tell you to stop.
Right?
Yep. Yep.
Daughtry was taken into custody at the scene. The victims were transported for medical evaluation and were noted to be in a distressed state. The suspect faces charges including false imprisonment, fleeing at high speed, and driving with a revoked license.